invoking the memory and the moral authority of Dr. Martin Luther King. And think how Dr. King would have felt if he'd have known that someone who was supposed to be so special and break the ceiling went ahead and said, I'm going to extend the war. I'm going to send more troops to war, but I've got no jobs program. I got money to bail out the banks. Endless money. Endless money. I got endless money for war, but I got no money to put the 20 to 30 million unemployed and underemployed people. I think Dr. King and every freedom fighter would be deeply disturbed, but that's okay. There's no need to be disturbed. What we need to do is get organized. Rights are only something that you win by fighting for them. They're not handed to you. And greedy bankers and the politicians who listen to them are not going to give us anything. So we're going to be back here. We're going to be back here in the spring, perhaps before the spring. But now, homeless people, unemployed people, working people, we may have been suffering and crying and moaning and groaning, but we're past that. We're getting organized. Our numbers are growing.
Jobs have been lost since January 07. 12 to 14 million. That's a lot more than they report. In fact, last month they claimed 190,000 jobs were lost. It was 817,000. They claimed that 263,000 was lost in September. Over 1 million jobs were lost in September. How did they do that? Playing games with numbers. In September, they didn't choose to count 571,000 people that they took out of the employed, but didn't put into the unemployed list. They just sort of disappeared. If you go to the BLS website, you look at the numbers, you'll see that this is a catastrophe, and the layoff, the job losses are not decreasing. They've actually been increasing. We have a crisis, and the money can't go to the military, can't go to the banks. They have to go to the people, has to go to jobs. This is a crisis that cannot be avoided. We are going to be out in the street. This summit's a talk shop. It ain't going to do anything. We need people to understand that this crisis, what they're claiming, the recession is over. Hell no, the depression is getting worse. And people need to know this. If you look at the real numbers will scare you. And you and us who work for the cities and the states know that when people are unemployed, there's no taxes and there's no jobs. And you see that all across the country. Hundreds of thousands of people are laid off. You saw 40,000 teachers in California laid off. At the same time, they give $12 trillion to the banks. That is a theft that we must fight. We have a right to a job. A tiny, tiny fraction of that $12 trillion could have employed every single unemployed person in this country at a decent wage and had money left over for health care, have money left over for education, has money left over for housing, but they chose only to pay off their friends. So, as I said, I'm a city worker. I'm actually a member of the New York City Central Labor Council, delegate from my union. Thank you.
Money for jobs, not for war.
Money for jobs, not for war.
Money for health care,
not for war.
Money for health care,
not for war.
Money for everything that will benefit poor and working people.
Right on, brother. Not for war.
Everybody out here has been telling the truth. I'll just add to what everyone else has been saying. But we have to understand, among other things, is that if we come here to Washington, D.C. to talk about this fake summit in here and get us something concrete, is that we are dealing with a worldwide system of capitalism and exploitation. When you come to Washington, D.C., let's get that straight. You coming to the capital of international imperialism, the capital of exploitation of working and poor people all over the world. I'm a veteran of the United Auto Workers. I'm a retired auto worker. The auto industry, the industry I retired from, has taken a major hit in this country. And you notice when the right-wingers went on the fence, their main target was the auto industry. Because over the years, we have achieved some of the best rights and pay for working people. But understand the demons that we're dealing with here and the seriousness of the times that we're in here. But may I add, a thought just came to me. How do you give the President of the United States a Nobel Peace Prize? Explain that to me. When through his orders, and the orders of his predecessor, George Bush, millions of people are being killed in these wars while we got massive unemployment in the United States. Explain this to me. How do you give one of the biggest warmongers in the world a Peace Prize? I know some of y'all don't like hearing me say that, but you have to tell the truth. The best way to keep the peace in the world is to stop these wars and put people to work.
All right, thank you. Tell it.
Money for jobs, not for war. War has always been an unnecessary phenomenon for the most part. And remember that wars are big business for these people in these cities. It's amazing how we can find money for warfare. Millions of Americans unemployed. Explain this to me, Mr. Barack Obama and his predecessors. Why is it that the only job a young person can get nowadays is either going in the military or going to prison? The biggest employer, especially among young black youth, nowadays is in prison. We got to think about that. You either join the military and become a professional mercenary, and I'm a veteran, by the way, or you wind up in prison. A few of us are lucky enough to get through the system, but I'm just giving out food for thought. Peace in the world comes through progress when people are working, when they're happy, when they got 3 square meals a day. But you don't have to go out here and knock somebody in the head, take some other working person's money. But they create this kind of situation in this city that literally destroys working people not only in the United States but worldwide. Creating jobs for who? It's endless, my friend. The country has been in war ever since World War II, small wars and big wars. But we have to reach a kind of system here, or develop a kind of system here where people can be fully employed without having to go to war or be the victim of what the last president, Dwight Eisenhower, called the development of the military-industrial complex. Barack Obama swore up and down that he was going to end these wars before he got elected, and like all politicians, don't believe a damn thing they say. He escalated the war outside because war is big business, and we have to understand that and confront it in such a way. So we have to emphasize to the unions assembled inside the White House today, and whoever else is at this summit, that we need money for jobs, not welfare. With the amount of money that they spend on these wars, you could have universal health care for every American.
Thank you.
With the amount of money they spend on these wars, everyone can get a free education all the way up to the university level.
Thank you.
Just food for thought. Power to the people.
Power to the people.